On the morning of January 31, 2012, the bodies of Bill Payne and Billie Jean Hayworth were found at Payne's home in Johnson County, Tennessee. Both victims had been shot in the head and killed. An investigation by the Johnson County Sheriff's Office and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation resulted in charges being placed against Marvin Potter and Jamie Curd for having entered the residence and committed the killings. Mr. Potter was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder in a jury trial held in Washington County. Mr. Curd pled to 2 counts of facilitation of first-degree murder, having cooperated in the investigation. The investigation led to search warrants being issued to email providers, including Yahoo and AOL, as well as Facebook, concerning accounts believed to be used by Barbara Potter and Janelle Potter, the wife and daughter of Marvin, respectively. Those search warrants returns revealed a substantial amount of written correspondence of a negative nature towards the 2 victims, as well as friends of theirs. Janelle Potter's account featured many communications purporting to be made by a Chris, who was a CIA agent. Chris often wrote to Barbara Potter or Mr. Curd, telling them of movements, actions, and plans he had learned that the victims and their friends were taking or would take against Janelle Potter. Barbara Potter's email account included many emails written as Barbara to this same Chris, and those emails expressed grave concern for Janelle Potter's welfare, as well as hostility towards the victims and their friends, due to her belief that her family was in danger. Further review of the emails revealed that Barbara Potter also wrote messages to Chris telling him of plans that Marvin Potter had to deal with the victims and their friends, insinuating that he would take violent action against them if necessary. Also, as there was no evidence that Marvin Potter himself used the computer for communications, it was concluded by investigators that Barbara Potter was communicating Chris's messages to Marvin Potter, as her messages indicated such. Barbara Potter's communications to Chris indicated a wish of Marvin Potter that another individual join him on his plans for the victims. At first, Barbara Potter expressed a desire to Chris that Chris himself participate in Mr. Potter's actions. Eventually, the person writing as Chris suggested Jamie Curd as a participant. And thereafter, Barbara Potter began emailing with Jamie Curd and reporting to Chris about Mr. Curd's growing association with the Potter family. At her previous trial, Jamie Curd testified that on the morning of the killings, Marvin Potter picked him up at his residence and traveled to a church parking lot within sight range of the victim's home. Mr. Curd testified that Mr. Potter waited until Mr. Payne's father left for work. After the man's vehicle left, Mr. Curd said they walked to the home and that Mr. Potter handed him a gun. He testified that they then entered and Mr. Curd stood at the door as Mr. Potter shot each of the victims. The state's theory in prosecuting the case was that Marvin Potter, being an older gentleman with mobility issues, needed a second person to assist him in ensuring the intended victims did not escape and thus make his plan to kill them fail. Forensic linguistic analysis to the Potter women's communications, the emails, revealed many characteristics of known writings of the women to be consistent with features of the subpoenaed evidence. That analysis highly suggested that Janelle Potter was the actual author of the Chris communications and that Barbara Potter was the author of her own. At a motions hearing held in Johnson County for Marvin Potter's case, Barbara Potter testified and under cross-examination admitted to having engaged in email communications with a Chris from the CIA. A search warrant executed on the Potter home and vehicles led to the discovery of trash bags in the truck bed of Marvin Potter's truck that contained shredded papers. A TVI lab employee pieced many of the papers together, and they were found to be written electronic communications consistent with the email and Facebook accounts of Janelle and Barbara Potter. Writings that also expressed hostility towards the victims. In a phone call placed by Marvin Potter from the Johnson County Jail to Barbara Potter at the time of his arrest, she having yet to be charged, a short discussion took place between the two about shredded documents to be trashed. By her written communications to Chris, it was shown at her previous trial that Barbara Potter knew that Marvin Potter had an intention to kill Bill Payne and Billie Jean Hayworth. And by her communicating with Jamie Kerr, both in person and via email, she furnished substantial assistance to Marvin Potter by coaxing a closer association with a person whom Marvin Potter eventually utilized to assist him in his decision to enter the home of Bill Payne and kill his victim.